Yo, what's up with y'all boys and girls, man? Hey, it's Jay Briggs here from Pickdawgz.com, continuing to cook up this NFL, man. Y'all know the drill. We're here cooking up every single game all season long, man. We went through the preseason. We're going all the way through the Super Bowl, man. So buckle up, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you're looking for my best bets, the plays that I have the most money on, the plays I'm most comfortable with, those are my best bets. You can find those over at Pick Dawgz Premium. There's a link in the description, man. But without further ado, we're finna go through every single game right here, right now, man. Let's make some money. Let's dominate the NFL. Let's hop right into today's NFL action. First game up, man. We start our day in London, just like last week. We got a team that stayed in London after playing their last week in the London Jags, a.k.a. the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm taking them here plus the points. I think this is going to be a competitive game. I think Jacksonville has a legitimate shot to win it outright. And I just think it's something to this team having, A, the most games played in London than any other team in the NFL. B, not having to deal with the traveling this week, already accustomed to being there. Buffalo had to come over. And when you just look at both of these two teams, player for player, man for man, I know Buffalo has looked really good in 3 straight weeks, absolutely lighting up the scoreboard, and the Miami Dolphins last week, but I just have a feeling this game's going to be close. And I think that getting the points in my back pocket is a great place to be. I think the Jags get back on track, man, after finally doing that last week. I'm still high on this Jags team, even at 2-2. Think they compete. I'm going to take them plus the points. I might even sprinkle a bit on the money line for them here in London. Next game up, we got the Tennessee Titans out on the road facing the Indianapolis Colts. Man, this line is steamed up a bit. It's now Tennessee laying around 2.5. I'm taking the home dog. I'm taking the Colts here. I've liked what I've seen from the Colts, man. I think based on the pure eye test of putting my eyes on these two teams, I think the Colts have been the better team, even with their rookie quarterback missing some time. I know the Titans beat up on the Bengals last week, but the Bengals have not really looked good thus far this season, and I'm still reminded of the game before that where they got dominated by a Cleveland team. I kind of think that Indianapolis will be able to really establish the run the football with Jonathan Taylor now back in the fold. Signed an extension with the team, a 3-year extension, got paid. So I think him and Anthony Richardson running the football is going to be a little too much for this Tennessee team. I think the Colts will be able to limit Derrick Henry kind of like the Cleveland Browns did a bit. And I think the Colts win this one at home. So I'm going to take them plus the points, and I will take them straight up on the money line here in this one. Next game up, we got the New Orleans Saints out on the road facing the New England Patriots. Interesting game, man. Both teams took bad losses last week. The Saints have now lost back-to-back, losing on the road to Green Bay, a game many Saints fans think they probably should have won, and then getting dominated last week at home by Tampa, 26-9. Not a good look. Not a good look. New England lost last week, the worst loss of Bill Belichick's career, 38-3 by the hands of my favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys. They got dominated in that game as well. So it sets up as somebody has to bounce back in this one, and the team that I'm expecting to bounce back is the New England Patriots. I just trust Bill Belichick. I think he's the better head coach here. I know the Patriots are without Judon, without Gonzalez, and those two guys are really going to hurt on the defensive side, but the Saints offense doesn't really give me any pause for concern. I think Bill Belichick dialed some things up. Expecting the Patriots to fall to 1-4 after a terrible loss like that is just, I could see it, but that's not where I want to be. I'm taking the Patriots. I think the Saints' problems are pretty bad as well. We'll see if they can get back on track on the road in a tough spot. I don't think they will be able to. I look for this to be a defensive game, and I look for the Patriots to win. So under Pats for me. Next game up, man. This should be a good one. We got the Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers at home getting 4. Now I see some 4.5s popping up. And at 4.5, I think that's just too much value to pass up on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Are the Ravens the better team? Yeah. Have the Ravens looked better thus far this season? Yes. Especially winning on the road in dominant fashion last week over the Cleveland Browns, 28-3. And the way that Pittsburgh got dominated last week by Houston is concerning. But I think now at this point, it's kind of a sell high point on Baltimore. and a real buy low spot on the Pittsburgh Steelers, a team who historically plays really tough at home. I think their defense shows up behind the home crowd, and I think we have a tightly contested game, and I'd rather the points in my back pocket. So that's how I see this one. More play on the number. I do think the Ravens are the better team, but expecting them to stomp the Steelers in Pittsburgh is kind of crazy. I think this game is going to come down to the wire. I'm going to grab the points. Give me Pittsburgh. Give me Kenny Pickett. Give me Coach T here in this one. All right, next game up, we got the Houston Texans out on the road facing the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons favored by 1.5, 2 points, depending on your book. Interesting game we have here. Coming into the season, I think we all would have agreed that the Falcons were the better team. But based off what we've seen here these last few weeks, you might be questioning that, as the Falcons have lost pretty badly in back-to-back weeks to the Detroit Lions and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Meanwhile, the Texans have had 2 nice wins over the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm not going to overreact. I still think the Falcons are the better team. I think the Texans put together 2 good weeks. I think the Falcons lost to 2 teams that are just better than them. That Texans-Jag series always has some funky mojo going on in it, as it's a division game, so I'm not really going to take too much from that. I think this Atlanta defense is going to look better this week than it did the last 2 weeks. I think they come back home on their home field and get things together. I think they will be able to run the football. I think C.J. Stroud probably struggles in this one. When it's all said and done, I think the Falcons win this game. Taking them straight up on the money line is probably not a bad place to be at the current number. But I'm on the Falcons. I think they win this game. I'm going to take them here in this. Next game up, we got the Carolina Panthers out on the road facing the Detroit Lions. Lions, man, they are laying big boy numbers, man. They're laying now damn near double digits. Line up to 9.5. Here's my thought process, man. Are the Lions the better team? Yes. Do I feel comfortable laying double digits with the Detroit Lions? I don't. And I'm aware that the Lions are the number 1 cover team the last 3 seasons. Most of that, though, was done as underdogs, although this season we have seen them come out and cover in back-to-back weeks over the Falcons and the Green Bay Packers. Games at Ford Field are usually high scoring. I think the Panthers will be able to move the football, put some points on the board. I think the Lions will get theirs as well. I'm going to take the over in this football game, and I'm going to lean towards Carolina, as I think they can score enough points to possibly lose this game by 7. That's just my thought process in this one. I think Bryce Young and this offense will be able to move the football a little bit on this Lions defense that gives up a ton of points at home. But I think that the Lions are the better team. I do think they get it done in the end. But I can see this one being a little closer than the double digits, man. Laying a lot of lumber with the Lions is kind of starting to get a little out of hand, in my opinion. But give me Carolina plus the points. Give me over here in this game. Next game up, we got the Giants and the Dolphins. This line has moved up from 10.5, as you see on the screen, to about 12.5. I don't think those 2 points will factor in the end. I think they're just trying to scare us a bit about laying the points with the Dolphins, because that's exactly what I'm doing, laying the points with the Dolphins. It's a bounce-back game for this team at home against a team that has been terrible all season, a team that cannot protect its quarterback, and a team we've already seen be blown out this year. So I don't have a problem laying it with the Dolphins. The Dolphins are a team that will pile on the points, as we saw them put up 70 on the Broncos earlier this year. I know the Giants were a cover machine last year, and they're probably not as bad as what we've seen from them thus far this season. But I don't think this is their bounce back spot. I think it's a bounce back spot for the better team, a top 6 team for me in the NFL, in the Miami Dolphins at home. I think they got too many weapons for this New York Giants team. Give me the Dolphins. I'm gonna lay the points, man. I think they get all over the Giants, man. I think they score a ton of points, and they win this game comfortably. Next game up, we got the Cincinnati Bengals out on the road facing the Arizona Cardinals. I think this is one of the toughest games on the entire card. Reason being is I think we all can agree coming into the season, there was no debate, man. Cincinnati was one of the top maybe 5 teams in the league, and Arizona, in many people's mind, was the last place team, the worst team in the NFL. But based off what we've seen thus far this season, That has not been the case. The Cardinals have been extremely competitive, had a lead at halftime in all three of their first three games, and were really competitive with the Niners in some capacity last week. The Bengals, man, looked terrible last week and have looked bad for most of the year. Now we're at 1-3. I was really high on the Bengals coming into the season. I love this Cincinnati Bengals team, Joe Shiesty and crew, Jamar Chase, but I cannot just blindly bet them here. I cannot, man. Based on the eye test, based off what I've seen from the current teams in 2023, I think getting the home team, the Arizona Cardinals, plus the points is the place to be. And sprinkling some on the money line is not a bad place to be, man. I understand on paper the Cincinnati Bengals are the much better football team. But based off what we've seen play out on the football field this year, this actual football season, I don't feel comfortable laying the points with the Bengals. I'm going to grab the points with the Cardinals, a team we've already seen beat some of the top-tier teams at home this season in the Dallas Cowboys. I think they can compete and possibly beat the Bengals outright at home in this one as well. Give me the Cardinals plus the points. Next game up, we got the Philadelphia Eagles out on the road facing the Los Angeles Rams. And when I think of these two teams and they coming together, I think of an over. That's where I'm going to be in this one. I think the biggest weakness on this Philadelphia Eagles team is their defensive secondary, and I think that's a problem and something that this Los Angeles Rams team will be able to exploit with guys like Puka Nacua, the rookie, having a really great season, and Cooper Kupp back in the fold this week. So I think the Rams, Matthew Stafford, a guy who loves to air it out, Sean McVay, one of the best play callers in the game, I expect them to move the football, score some points on a weak secondary. But on the other side, I think the biggest problem for the Rams is their defense as well. They don't have some of the talent that the other guys have. As we know, they lost Ramsey now in Miami. I can't wait till he gets back on that team. That's going to be crazy. But they don't have some of the top-tier talent on the defense. Of course, they still got Aaron Donald, but other than that, they don't. I think Philly, an offense that we know scores a lot of points, I think they'll be able to score right along with them. So looking at it over, I'm not going to overcomplicate it with the side. I'm just going to take the total. Points, points, points. I think defenses are the weakest side on both sides of the football. Give me points. Give me an over. Philly. Next game up, we got the New York Jets out on the road facing the Denver Broncos. Broncos now favored by like 2.5 at the time of recording. I'm taking the Jets. I'm going to take them straight up on the money line. I don't even think the points are needed. I like what I saw from Zach Wilson last week. I think that was arguably his best game he's played in the NFL. And now, after playing that great game, going up against one of the worst defenses in the league, in the Denver Broncos, I think he's poised to have a pretty good game, man. This Broncos defense has been terrible all season long. Bad against the Raiders, gave up 17. The Commanders, an offense we don't think that highly of, man, scored 35. We know what Miami did to them, scored 70. They even allowed the Bears to put up 28, man, had to come back and get them. This is not a good Broncos team. I think the Jets are better defensively than the Broncos, and offensively, I think it's pretty much a wash. Like I said, Zach Wilson played really well last week, saw some things that I think he can carry forward. I think the Jets get on the board, fading the Broncos. I'm taking the New York Football Jets on the road. I think they win it straight up on the money line. Next game up, we got the Kansas City Chiefs laying 3.5, 4 points on the Minnesota Vikings. We had the slide heard around the world last week with the Chiefs, man. If you were on the Chiefs with me, that was terrible, man. Mahomes should have walked that in for us. I understand it in hindsight. I get it. They could have won there. I understand all that. But still, as a bettor, that's frustrating, man. Run in the end zone. Score that, man. So we can cash our ticket. But it didn't happen. It's quick and easy to be like, man, forget the Chiefs. I don't want to bet them no more after that. And I get it. I know I tweeted that as well. But I'm going to take them here and now at the 3.5. I still think the Chiefs are, one of the best teams in the league. They got the best quarterback in the league, got one of the best weapons in the league in Travis Kelce. We know this Minnesota defense has been lit up all year. I think they get lit up again. I think in the end, the Chiefs win this game by about a 7 points. I think Minnesota's going to have their chance. Their offense has been clicking, but their defense has been terrible. And terrible defense on the other side of the greatest quarterback in the league, in Patrick Mahomes, just seems like a bad place to be. I don't want to catch a falling knife with the Minnesota Vikings, even though they covered last week. It was against one of the worst teams in the Panthers. Now going up against one of the best teams, I can't do it. I know they let us down last week, man, but I'm going back to them. Give me Kansas City. Give me the Chiefs. I'll lay the 3.5. Next game up, we got my favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys, out on the road facing the San Francisco 49ers. Niners laying 3.5. Tough game. It's a tough game. I understand all you Niners guys out there. You have eliminated my team in back-to-back years in the postseason. You guys are usually, the team that is a little more aggressive. And like I said, you've won now every start that Brock Purdy has finished in his career. So I understand the hype behind the 49ers. They're currently the number one team in my power rankings. Dallas is like somewhere around 4 or 5. The thing is, man, I'm taking the Cowboys straight up on the money line. I know y'all already knew that before coming here, but I am. I think this game is too important to this team. I do. I think revenge is one of the best motivators. And I think that they have had this game circled since the schedule came out. I think they go out here and get it, man. Defensively, these are the top 2 teams in the league. ATS-wise, these are 2 top 3 teams the past 3 seasons. So it's pick your poison. For me, I'm taking what I think is the better quarterback in Dak Prescott. In totality, the better defense in the Dallas Cowboys, a defense that takes the football away, has led the National Football League in takeaways the last 3 seasons combined. Tough game. I'm not mad at any of you if you take the Niners in this football game. But me personally, taking the Dallas Cowboys plus a 3.5. I'm going to take them straight up on the money line. No, this is not my top play this week. But I do think the boys have a legitimate shot to win it outright. I'm going to be on the money line. We'll see how it shakes out. Sunday Night Football, man. I cannot wait. We'll be live at halftime for this game. Me and Money Man Mitch as well. So come tune in halftime. See if I'm sweating, if I'm gloating, or if I'm crying live on air. But give me them boys, man. Plus a 3.5 and straight up on the money line. Last game up, Monday Night Football. We got the Green Bay Packers out on the road facing the Las Vegas Raiders. This line is flipped completely, man. The Raiders are now favored by about 2 points, and I don't agree with it, man. I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to take them straight up on the money line. I think they win this football game. I think the Raiders have one of the worst coaches in the NFL, and if you go back and look at his record since coming into the NFL as a head coach, this stint, it's one of the worst records in the NFL, man. Josh McDaniels is not a good head coach. He has not been. I know he had that run early in Denver when he was cheating. Ever since then, he's been terrible. He has a lot of talent on this Raiders team, and that's why I fell for it a few times this year. But when it comes to just pure coaching decisions, he's one of the worst in the league. And I think he gets out-coached here by Matt LaFleur. I really do, man. I haven't liked what I've seen from the Raiders their last 3 games. Dominated by Buffalo, really kind of dominated by Pittsburgh, and we saw how bad Pittsburgh looked last week. And then the Chargers got him as well. I'm not taking too much from the Packers losing to the Lions last week. That's a really good Lions football team, and a Lions team that has had the Packers number over the last few seasons. I think the Packers bounce back on the road. I think they're the better team. I'm fading Josh McDaniels. I think he probably won't make it through the entire season. Give me Green Bay. Give me the better head coach. I'm taking the Packers straight up on the money line. And that's going to conclude this episode of my NFL Jam Session. I appreciate every last one of y'all watching this video, man. Really means a lot to me. Do me a favor. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, man. I do a ton of free content right here on the channel. But if you're looking for my best bets, if you want the plays that I have the most money on, the plays that I feel most comfortable with, those are my premium bets. You can find those over at Pickdawgz Premium. There's a link in the description, man. Takes you right to it. You can get everything over there, man.